Good evening, everybody. It is Heavy on Lakers live with Scoob B, Ben Doody alongside Brandon Scoob B Robinson. Day 2 of the playoffs and day 1 of LA Lakers playoff basketball. Already an upset today, Scoop, in NBA playoff basketball, and a lot more going on tonight. How you doing, man?
Man, I'm doing good. Good to see you again.
Good to see you as always. So why don't we start here? First of all, we have 3 really interesting and exciting guests for you tonight. We have Kelsey Nelson, who is a host and broadcaster for Fox Sports in the Big East. We have Mark Haynes, a friend of the show, who is the host of the Minute Before Sticks podcast. His brother, Chris Haynes, who is a NBA insider for Yahoo Sports. And then our what we teased as a surprise special guest is Yungeen Ace, who is a really prominent Jacksonville rapper and basketball fan with a pretty interesting personal story. So they will all be alongside. We are broadcasting in 3 places. One is the Heavy on Lakers Facebook page. One is the Heavy YouTube channel. And last but not least is the Scoob B Periscope / Twitter feed, which you can find on Scoop's feed. So did I miss anything there, Scoop? I think we have our bases covered.
Efficient, sir.
And one way, Scoop, that I keep on thinking about these playoffs is it reminds me of the NCAA tournament, because it's like 1 o'clock in the afternoon and you look up and you're like, oh crap, there's live basketball on right now. And like that, I've had TV on. One thing that happened to me is like I had ESPN on and the games were on TNT today, so I had to change the channel. And I missed the beginning of Bucks Magic. Now I've got Thunder Rockets on, Rockets blowing out the Thunder. The Bucks Magic, Scoop, I think is interesting because you've got the exact same seeding dynamics that you have for Lakers Blazers. I think the Lakers will win tonight. They're a 6.5-point favorite. But if you're somebody who thinks that an 8 can't beat a 1, particularly in one of these neutral site games, then you probably got a reminder that you might be wrong today with Magic Bucks. How much of that game were you able to catch, Scoop?
I caught probably the last quarter. I looked at Markelle Fultz. I think at one point he hit 6 3-pointers in that game. A guy that, was outcasted by many people for a myriad of reasons. Was a first-round pick by the 76ers back in 2017. And really and truly showed up to play. But here's the thing. Orlando's really a team that's like wine. It'll sneak up on you if you have a little too many cups of wine. And so when I look at the Orlando Magic and what they've been able to do, Evan Fournier, you look at Vucevic, you look at just that team at large, they sneak up on you. There were times during the season this year that, they were, I think, as high as 5th, but definitely a 6th, 7th, 8th seed throughout the course of the playoffs, throughout the course of this shortened season. But I think the Orlando Magic showed that like you said, any team could win because it's like an NCAA tournament. You're not feeding off of – in fact, you're feeding off of NBA 2K crowd noise, not actual crowd noise. And I think that when you look at the Milwaukee Bucks, I watched that Bucks game the other day against the Memphis Grizzlies without a suspended Giannis Antetokounmpo. And what I found in this particular game where he did play today in a half-court set, Giannis struggled. Giannis is a guy that really gets his points off of fast breaks. He has an improved jumper, but at the same time, Giannis, to me, is a Swiss Army knife that gets many things off. But I think in this first game, there are things about Orlando that really impressed me, particularly their shooting. They've always been a good shooter this season. Aaron Gordon is not your typical power forward center. He can get to the basket. He can shoot. He can dunk. He can do a myriad of things. But I really do think home court advantage doesn't really matter in this series. And I think, in a best of 7 series, you're going to see it. I think, even like in a game yesterday between the Brooklyn Nets and the Toronto Raptors, there were times where Jared Allen got hot. There were times where Karis LeVert got hot. And, Toronto ended up winning, but you saw a young Brooklyn Nets team come of age again yesterday, just like you saw them go against the Portland Trail Blazers as well, the team that the Lakers do play tonight. So it's going to be interesting to see what happens, but I was impressed with Orlando's play. I hope it does continue. If you look at the playoffs last year, Boston dropped their first game in the opening round last year. They ended up, going pretty far in the playoffs, but, people wrote Boston off after they lost that first game. It'll be interesting to see how they continue, meaning the Milwaukee Bucks in their series.
So to me, we touched on this a minute ago, one of the fascinating things about this playoffs that's different than usual is, I remember, I'm a New England guy. I remember the Celtics 08 title run really well, where the Celtics, if I have this right, they didn't win a road game until the finals. They played the Hawks in the 1-8 series in the first round, and the Celtics lost every road game, yet they won every single home game. And if you're a 1 seed there and you pretty much know you're going to win at home, you don't necessarily have to be that worried about anything.
Mm-hmm.
Neutral floor, and somebody in the comments could drop in what the live odds are, the Vegas odds on that Bucks Magic series. My gut is the Bucks are still favored. They were a heavy favorite in that series going in. But you're down 0-1, and you can't just be like, we're going to blow them out at home and win everything. So I wonder how, any thoughts, Scoop, on how if you're the Bucks, I think the Bucks would probably be fine, right? I mean, at even money, I would bet the Bucks. I think they'll be fine. But if you're the Bucks, by the way, Giannis goes for 31, 17, and 7 today, and they still lose. 31 and 17, and it was not good enough. In fact, it wasn't even close to being good enough. But if you're the Bucks, Scoop, how worried are you about that series?
You're seeing a young team that's hungry, that has nothing to lose. And I think that, like you said, I think Milwaukee could be fine. But I'll take that and I raise you. I still don't think that people are taking – I think people just look at the Bucks like they're just the favorite to go to the finals and they're going to play the Lakers, and it's the end of the story. And Vucevic got hot. That's the other thing for Orlando. Who do the Bucks have to stop Vooch? You think Robin Lopez, you think Brook Lopez, and to be honest with you, I like the big man matchup between the Bucks and the Orlando Magic, because I think that at the end of the day, when you look at the Bucks and the Orlando Magic, that center position, oftentimes people pay attention to the swing man, people pay attention to point guards. Like literally in that series, you have two bona fide big men that can do it and can spread the floor. You look at Brook Lopez, he can shoot 16 to 18 feet out, get you 20 points, 10 rebounds, 5 assists, can shoot the open three. I really saw him begin to come of age during his last year in Brooklyn, where he spread the floor out under Kenny Atkinson. So when I look at that situation against Vooch, I think it's a premium matchup on the scoring side between Vooch and Brook Lopez. But they brought in Robin Lopez for that defensive hand in the offseason, a guy that came from the Chicago Bulls last year. And really, I think being next to his twin brother, I think it's a great feeling. As you can see, the Morris twins, they've played, been teammates throughout the course of their career, playing in Phoenix and Detroit. But when I look at the Bucks at large, I don't think that they should be alarmed. I think they just got to tighten up, and I think they'll be able to do that. I think early in the season, for the Bucks, they got hot, and it's interesting because many people picked the Bucks to be the favorite to go to the finals. But if you remember in the preseason, the Philadelphia 76ers were favored to potentially, look at the pundits and analysts like Stephen A. Smith and Charles Barkley. They were gung-ho on the 76ers, and you see how injuries played a big part in their season, even before COVID, where you had, you had Joel Embiid go down. You had early in the season at points, but was a preseason, MVP candidate at points. And you look at Ben Simmons. He hurt his back before the league shut down, and then he got hurt again. When you look at the Bucks, what I took away from their game against Memphis, in their finale, their regular season finale, I was under the notion that a team like the Bucks would be able to be okay even in spite of Giannis, because of their deep roster. You have with the Kyle Culvers. You have the Eric Bledsoes. You just have some other pieces that I'm not naming that would do damage. But I think that Giannis means as much to that Bucks team, in my opinion, that LeBron James means to the Lakers. If you don't play them, they don't. You see calamity there, and you see that even you didn't ask this, but I'm going to say this. Even in times where the Lakers rested LeBron James, like the last game against Sacramento, you kind of saw the bench and you saw some flaws. You saw some flaws with Deion Waiters. You turning the ball over and maybe taking some ill-advised shots. J.R. Smith, who I've been champion since the beginning of the year, to get a spot within the Lakers. I expect to see him step up in the playoffs and do some damage. But I do think that when you look at the Bucks and you look at the Lakers, they both benefit from their star player. And I think in order for the Bucks to really be successful in the playoffs, I think you're going to have to see an added a bonus in Brook Lopez and how he contains Vucevic. Because as I said, my premise was Vuce got hot, and when the man gets hot, you have some lapses there.
The Vuce stat line, I dropped the box score, the Bucks Magic box score into the comments. I hadn't scrutinized his stat line. The stat line is nuts. 35 points, 5 of 8 3-point shooting, 15 for 24 from the field, with 14 rebounds for good measure in 37 minutes. I'd be curious how this. One thing I'm curious, Scoob. Anyway, anyone in the comments can think of good examples of this. Chime in. In a 1-8 game, a guy on the 8 seed against the 1 having that type of game 1 stat line. I can't think of that many times when that's happened. Of course, it's different because normally the game 1 of the series is on the road really on the road, right? And you don't usually have a guy in the 8 seed just lighting up the other team on the road. But that Vuce stat line, oh my God. 35 on 5 of 8. All right, Scoop. We have our first guest of the night in our green room here. And we'll introduce her and bring her in. She is Kelsey Nicole Nelson. And there's some interesting stuff I want to get to with Kelsey, including whether we're going to get Big East basketball, which I'm praying that we are. Kelsey's a Big East reporter, teaches journalism class at Georgetown, and we'll ask her about that, and we'll have some fun. So Kelsey Nicole Nelson joins Heavy on Lakers with Scoob B. Good evening, Kelsey. How you doing?
Hey, I'm great. How are you all?
We're doing well.
Kelsey, what's up?
Hey, how are ya?
I'm maintaining.
So, as we said in the intro, Kelsey wears a number of hats. Fox Sports Radio, the Big East, teaches at both Georgetown and the University of Maryland. Did I get the resume right there, Kelsey?
You're doing really well. Yes, it's good. People get lost sometimes.
I want to. We obviously want to get your thoughts on the Lakers, and we'll get them momentarily. This is where I want to start with you, Kelsey. So I live in Connecticut, and I'm on the UConn athletics email list.
Yeah.
So UConn, it's. I mean, look, there are so many instances of just kind of sad byproducts of the coronavirus on sports. And one of them here in Connecticut is UConn, as many viewers probably know, after many years in kind of conference purgatory in the American Conference, joins the Big East. They have this wild celebration where they join the Big East effective July 1st. And I keep getting emails. I get an email today to reserve my season tickets for UConn basketball. And Kelsey, I don't know what that's going to look like. I don't even know if I'm going to have UConn basketball. So for the Big East and college basketball, am I going to be? I want so badly to watch a UConn Georgetown game.
Yeah,
and I'd love to go to it in person. But I'll take any UConn Georgetown game. Am I going to get a UConn Georgetown basketball game this year, Kelsey?
Oh my gosh, Ben, you are asking the $1 million question. We are all praying that we get college basketball. Our hearts are kind of already broken from college football. I'm hoping we get college basketball. We need college basketball. We didn't get March Madness last year, which I'm super sad about, especially since my Maryland Terrapins, who I finally going to do well, I think, in the tournament. But Georgetown, look, maybe Georgetown isn't the best right now, so maybe Georgetown fans are not the saddest. We don't have to see them lose, but look, it's sad times ahead. I know Pat Ewing is trying to build something great, but that I was looking forward to that matchup too. I'll miss covering sidelines for Georgetown. I'll miss being Capital One Arena and covering great games. But, the Big East is basketball. So I am pretty sad if we don't get it. But honestly, at this rate, who knows? Just who knows if we're going to get it? You see all the craziness around college football, but I don't see the NCAA losing out money on March Madness. I just don't.
Yeah, Kelsey, what have you made so far of the bubble, and particularly of the playoffs these first couple of days?
Yeah, the bubble, I think, has been, 0 COVID cases. I think the bubble's going amazing. And honestly, we've gotten great basketball. The intensity level is there. All the storylines are there, from Lou Williams, going off to get wings at Magic City and coming back. And then also, you just look at it. The Memphis Portland game, could we have asked for a better play-in game? That was all that you could ask for and more. And then all the stars are showing up. I know we'll talk about Dame, but what Dame Lillard is doing, and so many young stars. You have John Morant stepping up. It's been great. So I've been very pleased with the playoff basketball. And the bubble so far, I am a little bit scared when they let family into the bubble to see if we can keep that 0 COVID rate there. But other than that, I think it's been good. It's been fun. And to everyone in the bubble, keep it up, because we cannot have stoppage. Stuff is going too well.
Family and associates, you mean?
Family and associates, yes. Put the air quotes around the Scoop.
What player not named LeBron James and Kawhi Leonard and Devin Booker and TJ Warren have you enjoyed?
You named all of the good ones. Devin Booker was going to be the one that I took. But I'm going to say earlier, John Morant, I thought he really stepped up and made a name for himself. And I think he proved why he deserves to win an award this year. Playing lights out basketball, put the team on his back. I think he's been truly, truly amazing to watch. And I think he's earned his fair share and his fair due. Inside the bubble, that last game, wow. I'm already ready to see him next season.
Kelsey, you also host a podcast via video. You've had anybody from Amari Stoudemire to Kane from the WWE to Kurt Angle to a myriad of people. Tell us a little bit more about your show through Fox Sports and what we should be looking forward to moving forward.
Yeah, well, thank you so much for giving me this platform to speak about it. So my show is Listen In with K&N, and it's a chance for people to come listen in with me as I interview some just great celebrity athletes and just the amazing, amazing people that cover sports. Scoop has been on it. He's amazing. I've got to cover just a plethora of athletes. And essentially, I just want people to hear their journey, hear their story. And I've been trying to bring sports to people in this COVID world that we now live in and still try to get those storylines, and it's been great. You look at somebody like Amari Stoudemire, who's been on the show, who has now won yet another championship with his team in Israel, and getting him on to join me from Tel Aviv and just talk about all the great things he's doing, especially as a single father out there, is truly, truly, truly amazing. And it's been great. I have a great lineup coming up. I just had David Aldridge on. We're talking about NBA basketball. So who better to talk NBA basketball with than a legend, a Hall of Famer like David Aldridge? And coming up this week, I'm not going to say the name yet, but people should tune in. There's going to be someone from the Washington football team that will join me, and we'll talk all the latest and greatest with the football team here in DC. But a lot's coming up. Cody Rhodes is going to be coming on. I'll drop that on this show. So talking about wrestling fans. So it's been fun, Scoop. It's been great to just have 2 guests a week every Thursday and Saturday and just see what's going on with them, see how COVID's affected them, what they like about sports, and then of course get them to share their stories. So I'm glad everyone's been receptive to the show. And I'm really glad because I have a great August lineup. I have a great September lineup. And now we just opened bookings for October. So super, super, super excited.
Let's get some comments flowing here. We've had some good comments. I want to bring commenters in. First of all, if anybody has questions for Scoop or for Kelsey, get in the comments. If you have anything you want to talk about, if you want any topics that you want us to cover here, heading into Lakers Blazers, get in the comments there. People pretty active. Shout out to Daniel Artest, who I saw in the comments earlier, who was on our show. And thanks, by the way, to anybody who's tuning in again, who stuck with us for 4 hours, heading into Lakers Clippers, the first game of the restart. Everybody just joining us, heavy on Lakers Live with Scoob B. Kelsey Nicole Nelson alongside. Kelsey, I dropped in a link to your website, which I think has links to your podcast, among other places. Is there anywhere else people should go to find your work?
On social media.
Go?
Yeah, social media, The Real K Nelson. Check out everything there. My website has everything. On Facebook, Kelsey Nicole Nelson. Any and everywhere I am, you will see my work. But social media, my website, definitely the best ways to reach me.
So I'll drop in Kelsey's Twitter. All right, let's get some predictions here. And again, the backdrop is that this is the 1-8 game in the West. The 1-8 game in the East, the 8 won by double digits. So on day one of this type of matchup playing out in the bubble, we had a big upset. I'll start with and by the way, we said this earlier. Lakers by 6.5 is the point spread.
Really?
So a decent, pretty comfortable kind of projection there. And by the way, on the 1-8 thing, we talked about Vooch going off in the 1-8 game in the East. We got to talk about Damian Lillard, who, let's say, so far in the bubble, he hit a shot from like 70 feet out, not literally
from
70.
Heaven.
He hit it from 40 plus.
Yes, logo Lillard.
40 plus from the logo. He was the MVP of the bubble, and he kind of carried this Blazers team into this game. So, this will not be a boring series. I think that's pretty clear. I'll predict that's my bold prediction, my hot take. I think the Lakers. Here's where I go with this. I think the Lakers win this, but I think it's close. And I'm not a betting man, but if I were, I think I would bet the Blazers plus 6.5 because I think this will be like a 4 or 5 point game. Scoop, who do you got? And then people jump in. We got one Lakers. Nicholas Navarro jumped into Lakers by 8. Scoop, who you got tonight?
I have the Lakers. I think the one thing that I find very interesting about this series is that the Blazers had to work very hard to get there. And it reminds me of the Lakers during the season where the Clippers low managed and coasted. And I think that the Lakers had the opportunity to rest when their season was over because they solidified their first place spot. I think that the rest and the way that they were able to implement that towards the end of the season was their version of load management because of just all of the hard work and labor that they've had throughout the course of the season. And so with that being said, I do have the Lakers in the series and I do have the Lakers in game one. And I'm sticking by that.
They're going to cover the 6.5 points for those people who like to who live in a state where sports betting is legal. You guys in Jersey, you guys in Jersey, are you going to cover the 6.5 points?
I'll say 10.
Lakers by 10. Okay, so I got to say if I need to give a specific number, I'm going to say Lakers by 5. Scoop is Lakers by 10. Kelsey, who you got tonight?
Yeah, I'm going with you guys. I think the Lakers have it too. I think, as fun as Portland is and all the momentum going in and as amazing as CJ McCollum was to do what he did with his back like it was, I do think the Lakers are the better team tonight. I'm going with them. I'm going to say by 7. I think they just have an all-around team. If the pieces can show up around LeBron, if AD can show up, if Kyle Kuzma can show up and continue to shoot over Jesus or whoever he wants to shoot over, I think the Lakers will have a very, very, very solid one. But I do think Portland's going to give it to them. I'm actually really excited for the series. We might see it play out in full. The Lakers cannot breeze by. But again, you cannot discredit what Portland did. I mean, Dame can score, but also he knows now that the rest of the team can step up. But I really want to see what Carmelo Anthony does tonight. But I think I'm saying Lakers by 7.
So we should also do we'd be remiss not to do series predictions also. And so Kelsey, we also need you on record with your finals predictions. I remember my picks. What we did, Kelsey, last time was East finals pick, a West finals pick, and then a finals pick. My picks were Lakers over the Clippers in the West, the Bucks over the Celtics in the East, and then the Lakers over the Bucks in 6 in the finals. Scoop, you remember what your picks were from our last show?
I remember saying Bucks Lakers in the finals. I don't remember. The Lakers.
Lakers gonna win. Mm-hmm. Now the Bucks, I'm not so worried. I will tell you though, and full disclosure, I'm a Celtics fan, but or at least the Celtics follower here in New England. So don't at me, Laker fans, in the mentions. I said on our last show, I like the Celtics to get to the East Finals, and I like them to get crushed by the Bucks. Now I have to see about Gordon Hayward's ankle, but the Celtics looked pretty good yesterday, and the Bucks didn't look good today. So we'll see how that whole thing plays out. So Kelsey, West Finals, East Finals, and Finals. Who you got?
Yeah, so I had the same. I had the Lakers and Clippers, which I'm excited about. I have Lakers winning that and going to the finals. And then I had the Bucks and the Celtics too. But I do think the Celtics are a dangerous team. I'm excited to see if they face off against the Lakers. But come on, you all. If it's Lakers, Celtics, the Lakers are winning that. LeBron wants his 4th championship, so it's going to be hard to stop him. He went to LA with a purpose and a reason, so it's going to be good. But I think we're going to see Lakers, Celtics. But I'm like you. I'm watching that Gordon Hayward injury.
So we're getting some good questions. John King says he's in Celtics country, loves the Lakers. John, let us know where in Celtics country you are. Two questions. Kevin Oubre asking, how do y'all feel about Rondo being back? Joey Quado asked, how much does Hayward being out 4 weeks hurt the Celtics? So we'll go. I'll go to you, Kelsey, for Rondo. What do you think the impact is of Rondo being back back in the bubble?
I mean, it's great that he's back in the bubble. I think you look at Rondo, you look at his leadership. It's going to be unfortunate, obviously, if he doesn't play tonight. But Rondo gives you some solid points. Offensive-wise, I love Rondo being back. And even defensively, I mean, he knows the game. He appreciates the game. He understands the game. So I do think he will make a difference in that Lakers locker room and having him back there in the bubble. So I think it's just a plus. I mean, the Lakers could use all that they can use and more for this series. Because, again, it's not an easy write-off seed with the Portland Trailblazers. So I think Rondo being back is all A pluses across. It's a good bonus.
Scoop on the Gordon Hayward thing. Hayward out 4 weeks, sprained ankle last night. Joey wants to know how does that impact the Celtics? What do you think?
I think the Celtics still have a impactful roster without Gordon Hayward. You have Kemba Walker, who's been playing well throughout the course of the year. Jaylen Brown, who's been playing lights out. Jason Tatum, who to me I feel like last season had a gap year because the season before he and LeBron James were going toe-to-toe in the Eastern Conference Finals. The Celtics have been there before. So to me, when you talk about the Celtics in a conference finals matchup with the Bucks, it's not far-fetched because I do think that they got the crash course on it 2 seasons prior, and the Cavs ended up winning. I think that when I look at the Celtics at large, I think because of their experience in the past, they can do it. I remember earlier in the season speaking to Jaylen Brown. He discussed to me how I felt like, and I phrased it this way. In an early NBA season, people are giving the kudos to the Sixers and to the Bucks, and you guys are kind of overlooked. Do you think that's fair? He goes, I don't think we're overlooked. I don't think we're underlooked. I think we should just be playing basketball. And I think that mindset is something that really stuck out to me earlier in the season, and it has prevailed throughout the course of the season. And I think that what I like about Boston and what Jaylen Brown said is they've endured throughout the course of the season. I mean, we've gone from an era where you played against the Cavs in the conference finals to the Kyrie Irving. Kyrie was part of that era. He didn't play, to him leaving and ultimately joining Brooklyn. And then you bring in Kemba Walker, and they have a point guard that has legitimately, exceeded all expectations. Kemba's come in hungry. One of the best point guards in the NBA. I think as much as people give credit to Damian Lillard for what he's done, I think a lot of people were in love with Steph Curry. And in Steph Curry's absence, you saw the other point guards that were out there and talented that could make business happen, and you're seeing it in real time. And when you look at Kemba Walker last season in Charlotte, Kemba really, really did some things. They didn't make it to the playoffs, but Kemba really did his thing, and I feel like, I'm glad he didn't join the Knicks. I'm glad that he, him being from the Bronx and going to Rice, and then, he's known as Charlotte, Bronx, Harlem with Rice, and then going to UConn. He's close enough to home, but still in a whole nother Boston market, and he's making believers out of a lot of people. So I like the matchup with Tatum, Walker, Jaylen Brown, as well as the Nets Cantor and some of those other people there. Like I really do think that the Boston Celtics, can do damage. I think they're a team not named Toronto Raptors and Milwaukee Bucks that can excel within a system under Brad Stevens.
A Celtics Lakers final would be
epic,
pretty amazing. Again, like a Lakers Bucks final would be interesting too. Scoop, what'd you think of the Clippers last night? It was a weird game. Probably the weirdest game yet, honestly.
I think the refs gave them that game.
Yeah. The ejection was walk us through your thoughts on Porzingis getting ejected. I had it on, but I wasn't watching closely. It seemed like the Twitter verdict was pretty harsh on the ejection.
From what it just in looking at the pool report, it seemed that it was because of him mouthing off at the refs and him pushing Morris. But I think that Morris's shove looked more egregious than Porzingis's, and I think the thing was Porzingis wasn't like loud with it. He said what he said, and I think it kind of ties back to like it reminds me growing up and going to school and being in trouble. The teacher's going to see the big kid and they're going to react first versus the smaller kids. So I think it was one of those judgment calls in that situation where it was the bigger kid who the attention was drawn to, and he got caught with his hand in a cookie jar. But what I do like about that game was that you did see, it seemed to me that Luka had a quiet 40 or 41, and that the Mavericks really made a concerted effort to charge back despite being down by 30 in that game.
Yeah.
I have to commend them for that because, you waited a long time for Porzingis to come back. He's back, and then he's out because of his own actions, and they still found a way to do it like they used to do it before he got back. I think that Dallas Mavericks team is not going to beat the Clippers, but at the same time, they deserve to be in that game last night, and Porzingis was not allowed in because of the circumstances, and the Clippers will Clipper. There are some things on that Clippers team that I definitely have questions about. Patrick Beverley, a couple of his shot selections were interesting. Lou Williams is finding his way back into their system, and Kawhi and Paul George, that's their team. And I'll say this, I've said this throughout the course of this season. When I look at the Clippers, this is a carryover of their team last year where Lou Williams was their best player. And, he's coming up the bench. Now you got two stars, one all-star or one superstar in Kawhi Leonard and one star in Paul George that are slated to, go toe-to-toe with the Lakers. But, really and truly, we're talking about the Clippers on a Lakers platform. I think that's always funny because you get – but I do think that at the end of the day with the Clippers, though, man, I think that the Mavericks are still very young. I see it going maybe 5 games, and I do think that this is a learning lesson and growth for Porzingis. I think the refs gave him that game, but I think I think that is a learning experience, and I think they'll grow from it.
I checked out the ESPN win probability in that game, Scoop. In the second quarter, with Dallas up 14. The Mavs win probability peaked at 86% chance in the second quarter with that lead. The Mavs had, you talk about upsets in a 2-7 game, win probability of 86%, and obviously it didn't play out that way. All right, so we are a little more than a half hour in. We're gonna go till 9. Lakers Blazers tips at 9. A couple other NBA things. Rockets Thunder going on right now in the bubble. Rockets been up double digits for a while. They lead 78-62. Busy night. I said to you earlier, Scoop, I had to bring out a second TV here to watch everything because there's a bunch of NBA on, the DNC's going on. Last night I had the Celtics on the laptop, the Bruins on one TV on mute, and then the convention on the other TV with the sound on and off depending on what was going on. So this is crazy. There's a lot going on, and we haven't even talked about football. So
much so that's what we're doing next week. We have some slated guests next week.
Nice.
Do you want to tease? We've got some people in various stages of being locked in. Do you want to tease any guests? Do you want to promote anybody explicitly here, Scoop?
I'm on the 31st. You guys can, the end of the month. I guess that's Monday. We have Marshall Falk coming on. So
nice.
And sometime next week we'll have LA Rams' Chris Harris on as well.
So all that going on. Look, we this is the second one of these shows that we've done. Heavy live with Scoop, heavy on Lakers here. We're gonna have a show on Thursday, and we're gonna talk about the Bulls. The heavy on Bulls page.
And I meant to say Lakers Chargers. I apologize.
Okay, yeah. So you've got on Thursday night we're gonna go live around 8:00 Eastern time. We're gonna talk about the Bulls coaching search. We got a couple Bulls guests I think you'll find really interesting.
be on, as well as a former first-round pick by the Bulls is tentatively supposed to be on there. I don't want to name names yet, but we have some. Definitely, we'll be talking about the Bulls coaching search as well as just the state of the Bulls. Buck Jackson, Kenny Atkinson, and some of those other people there. So please be looking out for that.
So that'll be coming up on Thursday. Again, Heavy on Lakers here. We're going to go till 9. Mark Haynes will be with us pretty shortly. Yungeen Ace will be with us before the end of the show. I think we expect Young at around 8:30. So we'll get Mark in here in a minute. He can talk about the minute before 6 pod. Maybe give us an update from his brother Chris, who's inside the bubble. Kelsey, I got a couple other things for you because you're at this pretty put it this way, it's a very interesting time to be someone involved in college sports and someone involved in academia.
Yeah.
With a lot of news coming about football. Fingers crossed we get some basketball. What do you have coming up on the teaching front in this very strange academic year restart?
Yeah, that's a good question. So luckily for me, when I was teaching before, I was actually online pre-COVID because I'm teaching at Doral College, Intro to Radio and Podcasting. So I teach from here in Washington, D.C., where I'm located, and I teach students in Miami. So for me, the online teaching thing was already what I was used to. And at Georgetown, with my capstone students, we've done a lot of Zoom meetings virtually, but it's different. It's different when your students can't see you in person and have that interaction. At the same time, I think the students today are so much more technology advanced than the rest of us were when we were in school. So I think for them, it's like a cool thing. And I'm easily accessible, so I tell them all the time, they reach out to me through Twitter, LinkedIn, whatever, have their questions answered. And honestly, it's kind of the best way to learn because now they're learning how to do live streaming of their shows, etc. But yeah, as you guys know, podcasting, radio, everyone has a camera now, right? It's not just you inside the booth anymore. Everybody wants to see you and see what you look like when you're doing it. So it's an interesting time. I think the sports side of it, it's horrible, right? Because we can't get them into games and things like that. But at the same time, it's great because they're able to hop on Zoom calls and things of that nature, which is a little bit easier for them because they don't have to commute to get there. And it kind of makes it more fair across the board. But this upcoming semester will be interesting, to say the least, as we all just kind of wait and see what's next for college sports.
The stuff going on, the strangest part of it, I think right now, Kelsey, is the dance that the Power 5 conferences are doing. Where you have, if I have this right, 2 of the 5 conferences, the Big Ten and the Pac-12, canceling their seasons. You have the other 3, the SEC, the ACC, and the Big 12, saying, at least right now, that they're going to be playing their seasons, including, by the way, having fans allowed in the stands. I saw yesterday Kansas State is going to try to have 25% stadium capacity. But then throwing another just insane oddity into it, University of North Carolina, they tried to start on-campus instruction, bagged that like a week in, and switched to remote learning, yet the Tar Heel football team is still supposed to have a season in the ACC. That's how weird this is right now.
How backwards it is.
Shout out to Melvin Taylor. Melvin will be with us as a heavy contributor. Fired up about that. A guy Scoop's known for a while. Melvin will be in the mix, covering the NBA at Heavy, starting September 1st. You'll probably see him, some of his work here on Heavy on Lakers. So hello to Melvin. Mark Haynes will be with us in a minute. Young will be with us in 15 or so. And again, we'll take you up toward the tip of Lakers Blazers. Most of the people in comments are pretty confident on Lakers. I don't think I saw anyone. We got Mark in here. Okay, so Mark will be on in momentarily. I don't think I saw anybody. If you're in the comments, if you're watching here and you think the Blazers are going to win either this game and or this series, then jump in here. I don't think I've seen anybody predicting it. All right, so our next guest, and we will pop him in now, is Mark Haynes. Mark hosts the Minute Before 6 pod. He was on Scoop's pod lately, the Scoob B radio pod. Sources say, yeah. I don't think this is hyperbole here. Mark is from a big basketball media family, and I think, Mark, your brother Chris is one of maybe 3 or 4. No disrespect to Kelsey and Scoop are pretty famous. They're much more famous than I am. But Mark's brother Chris is like legitimately famous. People who don't even really follow the NBA that closely know who Chris Haynes is. So Mark joins us. Mark, how you doing, man? Thanks for coming on board.
Oh man, I'm pretty good, man. Glad to be here. Can't wait to jump on and start talking with you guys.
Mark, who's coming up? And we'll drop in a link to Mark's pod. Who do you have coming up, or what other interesting content do you have coming up on the Minute Before 6 pod?
It's a minute till 6, but it's close enough. I'm close enough, but it's minute till 6.
Minute till 6. Okay, let me get it up for. Let me drop it into the comments here.
Your conversation was recently with Marcus Thornton. That's a name in NBA fantasy basketball players' memory, because he'll drop a quick 30 on you every now and then.
Real quick. Yeah. So I recently just dropped a pod yesterday, like I said, with Marcus Thornton. He was great. We talked about him. He started off in junior college. He went the junior college route, and from there going to LSU. And being drafted to Miami, but ended up being traded to New Orleans, so he never left. He stayed in Louisiana. But he was really good. Like Scoob B said, man, he was a verified bucket when it came to hooping. And a lot of the style today, he like I said I told him on the pod, like he is part of the reason of this change in basketball, where we're seeing so many 3-pointer shots. He's one of the original guys on a 2-on-1 on a fast break, and he's pulling through. And you guys check that out. It's out on Apple, Spotify, YouTube, and everything.
Mark, I dropped in the link that's in your Twitter bio, where you can find Mark's latest episode. Mark, we're getting predictions from everybody. I need 2 predictions from you. Who you got tonight in Game 1, Lakers Blazers, and give us the margin of victory. The Lakers are a 6.5-point favorite. So who you got tonight in Game 1, and who you got in this series?
I'm going with the Lakers, Game 1, and I think six to somewhere between 6 to 10 points tonight. I know we're all fascinated by the way Damian Lillard's been playing. He's been he was the bubble MVP. Dropping crazy, video game numbers. But that has to slow down at some point. You can't, how long can he really do this? If he can really do this, then we're saying, Damian Lillard's the best player in the world right now. But, I don't believe, he comes out tonight. I expect a big game, but, when we're thinking about, 40, 50 points or whatever, like that's going to be tough, especially against the Lakers. So I got the Lakers winning tonight. And you said for the series as well?
Yeah, but you got to be specific on the point total. So the Lakers are a 6.5-point favorite. If it's a 6 or 10, it's a big difference. Give me an exact number.
All right, I'll go in between and I'll go 8 points. I got Lakers at 8 points. So
I'm the only one here who thinks the Blazers are going to cover. So I had the Lakers by 4. Scoop had the Lakers by 10, I think, and Kelsey had the Lakers by
7.
By 7, okay.
Uh-huh.
So I think nobody thinks it's going to be a 30-point blowout, and nobody has had the chutzpah to say that the Blazers are going to win. But I'll go to you. Go to you here, Kelsey. Would you be shocked if the Blazers, if I come to you from the future and I'm like, Damian Lillard scored 52 and the Blazers won this game, would you be shocked?
I wouldn't be, honestly, because they have the momentum going into the game. And I do think they have a chance to win one game. And if it is one game, it would be this first game after that performance that we just saw. I don't think the momentum is going to stop. I think we know what Dame's going to do. I think we know that they're going to try to double Dame, right? You're going to try to slow him down. But if the other scorers show up around Dame as they did the last game, you don't have to worry about that. And we have to remember, the Lakers are missing a key piece of their team here. So they are going to have their hands full guarding this Trailblazers team. But no, I wouldn't be surprised at all. I think if they do win a game, it's going to be this first one. You guys heard it here first.
I'm rooting for a close game and an entertaining game, and I'm pretty confident that we'll get one, kind of one way or another. Mark, what's stood out to you in the bubble so far? What have you made of all this very strange NBA playoff so far?
Well, first and foremost, before even playing talking about the games. I'm just, really surprised at how successful the bubble has been with stopping COVID from entering the bubble. So I'm really impressed with that. I think on Scoop's podcast we talked about it, and I was one who didn't believe this was gonna happen. I didn't think especially this long going through the playoffs, but now I'm a full believer. I think we're good to go all the way. So that's what impressed me most.
Mark, tell me something. So your brother Chris left Fresno, came to Portland, covered the Blazers. The story's legendary. What was your first encounter with Damian Lillard, being Chris's brother? Can you tell me a story?
Well, yeah, my first encounter was Damian's rookie season here in Sacramento. I was living in Sacramento at that time. And, the Blazers came, they come twice. Well, actually, they came 4 times that year because they played twice in preseason. And, I met Dame the first year, and it was just kind of a, hey, what's up? I'm Mark, nice to meet you, keep it going. And at that time, I wasn't in, media at all. I was just a straight up fan. And I think it was about maybe 3 or 4 months later, we go to the game again as during the season. And I see Dame from across the court. And I'm with my girl, and I see Dame across the court. And I'm like, that's Dame Lillard right there. Not, I ain't go approach him. You don't want to just be walking up on all kind of players and stuff. Be weird. So, I got my back turned, and next thing I know, he tapped me on the shoulder, and he's like, "Hey, what's up, Mark?" I'm like, "Damn." I'm like, "You remember me? I met you for 30 seconds, 4 months ago or whatever." And then, we talked, took a picture, and ever since then, we've been real cool. I'm not as close as Chris is with him, but we are good.
What is I actually talked to your brother Chris about a month ago when he, I think, had been in the bubble for a week or so, which has to be one of the more surreal experiences of, even for a guy like Chris Haynes, who's had a pretty interesting life. This has got to be one of the more interesting periods of it, right?
Yeah.
What's your sense from talking to Chris on what it's like in the bubble as a media person?
He's having fun. He's having fun. He's enjoying it. He's learning things as he go. Like the other day, we did a live, me and him, and he discovered that they had a free washing facility for your clothes.
That was wild. I saw that on IG Live.
Yeah. So I'm not sure if he was wearing the same clothes or not or whatever, but he figured out a way to wash it. They supplied all the detergent and everything was out there for you. He's like, what really amazed him was, it's a bunch of washers and dryers and there's nowhere to put change. You just push a button. So yeah, that kind of blew him away. He's been receiving gifts and stuff as he's been posting on his social media things.
Them J. Cole's.
Yeah, the J. Cole. Yeah. He got them. Seen Adidas sent him like a big like beer keg thing of shoes and stuff or whatever, which, I think Puma and Adidas forgot my address, so I'm gonna have to, reach back out to them so I can get my jug.
I got you, Mark. Sources say I got you.
Sources, hey, man, long as they say it.
All right, Scoop, we're gonna we have our boy Dan Artest hanging in the comments. We're gonna pipe him in here. We promised surprise special guest, so we'll call Daniel Artest a special guest. He'll join us in a few. We got 40 minutes. He'll hop in at least for like one segment here. We got 40 minutes or so till Lakers Blazers tip. I should say that with the TV schedule and the bubble arrangements, that game could be not tip right on time based on how the Thunder Rockets go. But 40 minutes or so.
As they say down south, it ain't.
Yeah. I'm not. If you're a betting man or woman, not bet that the game will start on time, but it'll be up there shortly. Okay. So we'll get him in there. Mark, what kind of stuff do you have coming up on the pod the next month or so? Or are you still working to line things up? Give us a preview of what people can expect.
Yeah, I'm still working on things. I'm in talks with a few people right now. I'm talking with trying to get Mario Chalmers. Sean Marion is a possibility, which I think is all yours, Kelsey.
Yeah.
And Ray for Austin will be at some point.
Okay.
Nice.
Mario was a good dude. I had him on Scoob B Radio last month, and he would not tell me what he said to LeBron James on the bench. And then I look online the other day.
It is everywhere.
Everybody.
I'm like, I'm gonna text him. I've been so busy. I'm gonna text him and tell him you know what? You talk. I'm not really mad, but I obviously he had to say something. And when he put it in a context like that, I probably would have got up and called him a bitch.
Yeah.
Yeah.
That'll do it. That'll do it for most people.
Yeah.
I guess Draymond took a page out of his book and tried it in the finals.
Yes, he did.
Mark, let me ask you this. Let me ask you something that we talked about on the show. We talked on the show last week with the Warriors tie-in, since you're a California guy and you mentioned in Draymond. One thing we talked about was Mark Jackson's tenure in Golden State, how that played out. And then there's been a lot of chatter about this with a couple of coaching vacancies, whether Mark Jackson will coach in the NBA again. And tied up in that, like whether he should coach in the NBA again, whether he kind of deserves a shot. What's your read, Mark, on Mark Jackson and whether you'll see Mark Jackson on an NBA sideline at some point?
Well, I think Mark Jackson is in a similar case to Jeff Van Gundy. They really enjoy what they're doing now, and it's really stress free. And they have fun, and they do, they're working together, having a lot of fun. So it would just definitely have to be the right, position, the right team, the right, organization as a whole to get them from commentating back in the coaching seat. I believe he's open to it for sure, but like I say, I think it has to be the perfect fit.
I spoke to Mark on Friday, and he's upbeat about the possibility of potentially playing again or potentially coaching again. And like you said, it's the right fit. Mark, has not coached since 2014, and the thing that I think is in his favor is the fact that he guided a Steph Curry, a Klay Thompson, and more. And there are some things that have gone on behind the scenes in Golden State that have limited his ability to progress when teams are making calls and you don't necessarily get the best review recommendation wise. So when you look at teams, to me, the thing that stands out, well, first of all, this is a Lakers platform. When Magic Johnson was team president, Mark Jackson was a coaching candidate, as was Jason Kidd. And as you see, Jason Kidd is an assistant coach now. Of course, now Rob Pelinka, he's relationship-wise and just a different guy, I'll say. But I think that at the end of the day, Mark Jackson, I think we all agree on here, does deserve another coaching position.
All right, we're going to have we have at least two more guests, and the next guy will join us here. He is Daniel Artest, host of the Daniel Artest podcast. You may know brother Meta World. Nice. So Daniel was in the comments, and I asked him, "Hey, you want to hop in?" He's like, "Oh, I'm dying to get in." It's because he's getting merchandise to plug. That's why he's in. All right. Plug your podcast and let us all know where we can get a Daniel Artest podcast T-shirt because obviously that's what you're here to plug.
No, I'm actually not here to plug my stuff, man. I'm here to talk basketball with y'all, man. You know, I seen Mark Haynes up here, Scoop in here, and Kelsey was on my show, so I was like, yeah, I want in on the conversation, man. So I just asked, can I join? So I'm here.
And then Young is going to join us. One thing that was really, really cool on our show last time with Silk the Shocker, there's this whole world of like the intersection of rap and basketball players. And I was saying to someone earlier is like Silk let me know if you think this is right, Daniel. Silk the Shocker and other people in his family, including Master P, and Damian Lillard, they're unusual in that they're good at both rap and basketball in some ways an elite level. Like how unusual is it for that to be the case where like you can be an NBA player and put out records?
It's very unusual. You know the stigma between with basketball players and rappers and basketball players and stuff. I mean, it's definitely unusual. You see, my brother, he only sold 300 albums first week or something when he dropped this thing. It's different, man. But what Dame Lillard's doing is really dope. I'm a big fan of his work. Of course, with Master P, we already know, everybody know Master P. He's a legend. Silk is a legend too. But I'm really surprised with Dame Dollar because he been holding it down, and he's a rapper for real. Like if he wasn't playing ball, I think he'll be successful at that game.
Here's my follow-up. Remember when Allen Iverson had that Jules album and everybody was on him?
Yeah.
What's the difference between somebody like Damian Lillard dropping something and Allen Iverson dropping it?
No player empowerment back in those days. I think that if that was today, I think AI dropped that album today. The NBA will allow it. I think the NBA stopped it. I remember when Ron had some hardcore songs too as well. Like, the NBA stopped him too.
Did they?
Yeah, they did. They stopped him too as well when he had his hardcore songs. So he couldn't really make the music that he wanted to make about the environment that he saw growing up, that we saw growing up. He had to change it up a lot. So the Ron that y'all be hearing is actually really not him. He's something different, but the NBA stopped it. But like I said, if this was today, you'll be hearing a lot of albums. You'll hear LeBron rapping, Kevin Durant rapping. They got an unreleased song together and stuff.
Right.
KD actually pretty good.
Yeah.
KD's actually pretty good. So it's a bunch of people. What's crazy? Like, I do think when Marvin Bagley and Dame Lillard had that little spat early in the season, I gave it to Marvin Bagley a little bit.
I'm with you on that.
Bagley was spitting. He was spitting. Like
last summer, right?
Dope.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, I think it was a little bit of Dame was rolling. He had the title as the best basketball player rapper at that time. And when Bagley came at him, it was out of nowhere. His name wasn't as big as Dame's. And then I think Dame lyrically is better than Bagley. But when he came when they was battling, Bagley's song was just nice. I actually still got it in my playlist now. So I felt like Bag won, but his name was just too small, and Dame kind of called him out on his track.
One of the comments says Dame clean him easy. So this is like a topic for debate whether who had the upper hand. All right, keep the comments going again. Heavy on Lakers live with Scoob B, Kelsey Nicole Nelson, Daniel Artest, Mark Haynes alongside. Daniel, we're taking predictions from people. Who you got tonight and who you got in the series, Lakers and Blazers?
I got the Lakers going all the way. I got the Lakers tonight in a tough game. Lakers by 6.
Lakers by 6. Okay. Yeah, I had Lakers by 4. So Daniel's on my side of it. Point spread 6.5. Daniel's with me, although closer. That you get a bet. If you're a betting person, you're gonna bet the Blazers. I can be totally wrong in that. Watch the Lakers go in and clean the floor with them. But I don't know, man. Like the Dame's performance in the bubble, I don't know. I mean, combined with his playoff performance in general, including last year, I just find it hard to. I find it a little hard to imagine that like the Blazers are going to get crushed here. You agree with that, Daniel?
Yeah, I agree. I've been saying this on my podcast to anybody that wanted to listen that the Portland can steal the games. Dame Lillard can take over. He can carry a team for an entire game. CJ McCollum, when he's healthy, he can carry a team for the entire quarter, like we seen yesterday. That's where they're dangerous at. So I want LA to really jump out on them. They got to get them up out of there quick, or else you never know, anything can happen. And one thing about Portland that the Lakers don't have is that, yes, the Lakers do have 2 top 5 players, but what Portland has is that but what Portland has is, if Dame could have a bad game, somebody could pick up Dame's slack. CJ could have a bad game, and they could pick up his slack, as well as Melo and Nurkic. So somebody can have a bad game. But with the Lakers, LeBron and AD, they got to step up at all times. They got to be on point at all times. And with AD, AD, he played in the playoffs twice. He really wasn't playing for anything. He was just being there, But now this is his first time really competing for something that matters, like, a championship. You know what I mean? So I really want to see how he responds to that. Sometimes he played really good in the bubble, but he could have played better. I thought that he needs to not have any single digit scoring games. You know what I'm saying? So I'm just looking forward to see how he responds. That's the person I'm watching, and also Kyle Kuzma too. Kyle Kuzma is definitely one of the X factors. He has to step up.
A lot of people just joining us. So if you're just joining us, this is Heavy on Lakers live with Scoob B, Daniel Artest, Mark Haynes, Kelsey Nicole Nelson alongside. I dropped in a link here. Heavy on Lakers content, if you're looking to find our content, some of which is written by Scoob on the site, you can find it at the link that I dropped in. And Yungeen Ace is in the queue, ready to hop in. And so this will be Young will be I think an awesome guest here that you guys will really enjoy. Scoob lined him up, and he can talk, I think, a lot about this universe of the NBA and hip hop. As an artist from Jacksonville. So Young joins us now on Heavy and Lakers. What's up, Young?
What up? What it is?
Trying to make it happen, brother. How you feeling?
Man, I'm feeling well. All is well.
Thanks to the Lord. You have a very interesting story. Number one, from my understanding, throughout the whole bubble, you and your buddy, Dejounte Murray, have been conversing. Obviously, the Spurs didn't make the playoffs. What has the bubble experience been like for you as a friend to the player? Like, what did you see on FaceTime that maybe everybody else wouldn't want to see?
Man, I ain't gonna lie. I'm so upset about it because I'm ready to go to every game. Like last year, I was supposed to go to all the games, but this year, I told myself I'm going to every game. You know what I'm saying? Because I done fell so in love with basketball. I'm just dying to see it again, like in person, like front row. You know what I'm saying? So it's like, it's crazy to me because I know the fans is what make the players play extra harder. You know what I'm saying? The excitement, the thrill. You know what I'm saying? You know what I'm saying? Make you play a certain way when you got an audience. You get what I'm saying?
Right.
That's like me playing when I'm on stage, right? You know what I'm saying? So it's different for me to perform than in front of a crowd. I'm gonna perform better in front of a crowd because I know I got millions of people, like thousands of people right here, like that I can really feel, and I know they're watching me, and it's like I could turn up, they hype me up. You get what I'm saying? So it's I feel it's kind of weird that it's like that, but I mean, they still got to play ball. You know what I'm saying? They still got to make their money at the end of the day.
So you gotta tell me about Dejounte. You walked all around the Mulberry Bush. I gotta hear Dejounte. What happened?
Man, Dejounte, man, he a great player, man. You know what I'm saying? Awesome player. He just, I really want him to get to the playoffs so bad, man, because he come from the same place I come from. You know what I'm saying?
For
different
sure.
city, different way. It's just like me knowing him like face to face, like my brother, that's my brother. You know what I'm saying? It's like when you see your brother accomplish like playoffs and the final championship, is like it's a different feeling from me watching it and me knowing him. Like, you get what I'm saying? So it's like he's very awesome. He dope.
Tell me what them snacks and that food look like in the bubble.
He had straight noodles, straight chips, straight Gatorade water. That's all he had in there. Like, I swear, it looked so crazy. It looked so crazy in there. I promise God, It's like he back at the house back in the day. You know what I'm saying? I'm like, man, this man wild, man.
So
it's great noodles. I'm talking about real life noodles. I'm tired of eating noodles. I've been so mad at them.
So are we talking like udon noodles, or we talking like ramen noodles?
Ramen noodles. Like, oh man, I'm like, man, ramen noodles, chicken, beef. You know what I'm saying? I'm like, man, what's up? He like, man, look how they got me in here. Chips, little chips every now and then. You know he can't eat too much of it, but I'm talking about ramen noodles, man. I'm talking about.
So like, from your perspective, I'm curious. Like, when I think of just the different snacks and stuff, I think about going to the Bahamas and staying on a resort, and you find out that on the resort you could go in the mini bar and you don't get charged to the room. I would imagine that it's the same thing with them. Like, they just refill the snacks, right?
Yeah, just refill it. But I ain't gonna lie, I got so mad about the thing because it's crazy because like I done accomplished all this now. I'm back to ramen noodles again. You know what I'm saying? It's crazy. Like, I'm for real. Like, it's crazy. Like, it's funny, but I was in there tweaking. I was like, bro, I'm gonna call you back. You know what I'm saying? I'm gonna call you back, man. He had text me out the blue, like, brother, call me real quick. You know what I'm saying? He just be showing me it's crazy, but I know he in grind mode at the same time. You know what I'm saying? So it's crazy though, but it's crazy. This Corona series is crazy.
Hey, so what is it like, you know, being friends with DeJounte and you both having success in your own industry and being from the same place? What is that like for you?
I ain't gonna lie. To be honest, gonna be really honest, it gave me more motivation at the same time. You know what I'm saying? And for me to see him grind as hard as he do, it made me grind even harder. You know what I'm saying? Cause it's like, and then he be encouraging me, and he'll call me, and we'll be talking about business and like what to do to better ourselves. You know what I'm saying? So it's like, it's crazy. Cause I used to want to play basketball before too. You get what I'm saying? So I be having a little crap, my little joke saying like, come play me 1-on-1. I'm a dunk on you. You know what I'm saying? But it's dope. It's dope to see somebody really in the NBA that's like I can call my brother. Like, as I said, like, you know what I'm saying?
You sound like Drake. When Drake recreated that 2003 NBA draft picture that LeBron had with that white suit. Remember that?
Yeah, definitely. Man, Drake awesome too though.
Did you play in high school?
Now let me tell you, I couldn't play in high school. I played AAU one time. I played one game.
What happened?
It's the first and last game I ever. I cannot play on no real team. I cannot run plays. So I go for a steal. I get the steal. I got a fast break. The whole crowd like, oh! I swear, in my head, I go up for the layup. Mm-hmm. But on video, I never went up. I just fell on the ground. Well, that was my last game. I swear that was my last game. I was like, yeah, I quit, man. I can't. You know what I'm saying? I can't do it. I walked right off the court. Ain't no sub, ain't no time. No, I'm off the court. It's a wrap.
You're sitting real clean in that whip. What are you riding around in right now?
I'm in the Maserati right now.
Really?
Yeah, little Maserati.
Right now.
Right now, this is my little low key car, but it ain't really low key because I got a certain way.
It's not low key at all. What color? Red or white?
How you know red?
Nobody's driving a green Maserati, sir. That ain't low key at all. But
I got, and it's so crazy. I got a red and gold. You know what I'm saying? So it look crazy.
I like.
Yeah, that's what I was gonna say. He riding in the Maserati. They got another Maserati around his neck.
Right on his.
all my cars like it's my yard like a GTA. It's like I created mine myself. I got all my cars wrapped purple, green. Like it look crazy. My neighbors be looking at me. They be looking at me. I come outside. They be like, I just be out there looking. I be like, how you doing? They be getting mad at me. I swear. I be trying to see it.
I like it. You talked about DeJounte, and we'd be remiss if we did not talk about the great Greg Popovich, one of the most legendary NBA coaches. My sister is in her early 20s, and I tell her all the time that Greg Popovich is the modern day Phil Jackson, in my opinion, at least for this generation. The OG and the ability to reach younger people, older people, etc. What have you, if any, had any conversations with DeJounte about Greg and his impact on the Spurs or him personally?
I ain't gonna lie. I never really spoke. I ain't really speak on DeJounte about like on that type of stuff like that.
That's real.
Yeah,
That's real.
I ain't really speak to him about that. I ain't gonna lie.
Thank you for not lying. Most would.
Yeah, I can't lie. I don't like to lie. I feel like when people lie, they feel, and I don't feel nothing, so I can't really lie to you. Like, I expect you to be real with me. I'm gonna be real. I'm gonna give it right back.
My late Nana used to say, if you lie, you steal. If you steal, you kill. So we're on the same page with that. You did go on record and discuss the Los Angeles Lakers, and you did say that they would be this season's NBA Finals champion. Are you capping, or is that how you really feel?
No, that's how I really feel. But I can admit, the Trailblazers, they've been going crazy. They ain't been a little bit going crazy. Melo, I don't know what. Melo been the GOAT, but people looking at him like he's just like, you know what I'm saying? I don't know if he's just tied his shoes up and just went crazy, like forget it. You know what I'm saying? Well, Melo been the GOAT, but it's just something about LeBron. I like LeBron. Just to me, I think he's better than Jordan. I know a lot of people might,
We got.
You know what I'm saying? I agree, but LeBron play like he.
Listen, I know I didn't use.
Bro, I ain't gonna lie. He could play all positions. This man go. He could just be him on. Did I go back? No, I feel like that. What?
We get Young going in and out a little bit. He
Y'all hear me now?
about Dame, and he thinks LeBron's better than Jordan. I think.
Young, listen. That's all I heard. I heard LeBron better than Jordan, and then I heard next tell me. So I know I didn't put Q-tips in my ears today, so I want to rewind a little bit. You said LeBron is better than Jordan. Don't do me like that, brother. Don't do me like that. You got
I
come back.
I think he's better than Jordan, for real.
You think?
I promise. Like I feel like I'm gonna be honest. I feel like the players today, they more fast, they more quicker than back then. I feel like they more quicker, they more flashier. They like it's more like I'm just being honest. And LeBron, bro, he can just do everything. Like he can adapt to everything. You know what I'm saying? This man, like, he can really, all he needs is a player to just hit the ball in for him. I swear that's all he needs. You know what I'm saying?
What advantage?
I like how he direct the team like he the coach.
What advantage? Where do you give the advantage of LeBron over Michael Jordan?
Let me see that, man. Let me see. I just feel like that man can just play really by himself. Like I swear, like he can just play by himself. I promise, like just by himself. Like, but I'm gonna tell you this: LeBron brings the team together. You know what I'm saying? He played the coach. You know what I'm saying? He played the coach and the players. You know what I'm saying?
Mm-hmm.
So my point is saying that. I know everybody a lot of people disagree on that, but I ain't gonna lie, man. He the Jordan of this time, though. I can say that. But you know me, I ain't really get to see. Let me be honest. I ain't really get to see Jordan play as much. I only seen his highlights, so I never really sat there and really focus on the game. But on the highlight, they always show the good part. They don't really show who you know what I'm saying? I'm a big fan of Jordan too, though, as well. I'm gonna put that out there. Cause I know they're gonna be coming for me, you know what I'm saying? But listen.
You telling a few
Lakers,
writers in here that LeBron is better than Jordan. We ain't turning this year. I want to hear it all.
I know that.
But you said what you said, and I respect it.
Man, LeBron. Let me tell you. I got to. I'm gonna stand on that too. Listen though, I'm telling you this. LeBron, this year I feel like they're gonna take it all away because LeBron really got his team. They playing as one. You know what I'm saying? He got everybody. I don't know. It's crazy, man. You got AD over there. AD.
What do you like about Anthony Davis? Where does he stand out?
I know the Lakers gonna take it in this year.
Are you there?
We got Young. Young's a little. Let me set the table here. So Young's a little in and out, but we got him on the record.
I like the fact that he could play. He could play the big man, and he can go shoot the three too. You know what I'm saying? That's my.
Hey, I ain't mad at you over there, Young. I ain't mad at you, man. Tell him.
Stop, Mark.
I ain't mad.
Tupac said it best. I ain't mad at you.
Yeah, I ain't mad.
He said what he
can't
said.
Be mad.
Tell me about your project. You recently dropped a project that is
Tupac said it best.
Tell me about it. Are you still there, brother?
I really work hard on Dondado. Yeah, you get me?
Now we
I say yeah. I got my project Dondado. I went out again.
You good?
They need to get better Wi-Fi in Maseratis.
Yeah. Let me drop Young's Twitter account in, and people can follow him there. In case
you hear me now?
So, Hood Anthem is your new project, correct?
Dondado.
Okay. Tell me about it.
Yeah, Hood Anthem is a song on Dondado. Hood Anthem probably one of the best performance songs right now. I don't know.
Got you. Dondada.
Y'all can hear me? Y'all can hear me still?
I can hear you better. Yes, sir. Jacksonville in the building. Let's reset. Tell me about Dondada.
Jacksonville in the building. Nah, like I really work hard on Dondada. It really just represents me, like for what I stand for. You know what I'm saying? Me becoming the boss. You know what I'm saying? Coming from the ground up. You know what I'm saying? And it's like I really speak on like where I come from and like what made me today. Feel what I'm saying? Like what I had to go through with the police and with the streets and you can't go against the streets. I tried to go against the streets. You can't go against them. They undefeated. You always lose. It's always a lose-lose. Ain't no win. Sometimes you lose. No, it's lose-lose. You know what I'm saying? So it's just me bouncing up and me being great and making all my negativity become positive. You know what I'm saying? So
I dig it.
I I hear like in Houston, I'm from Jacksonville, but I be doing things in Houston. Like I want to sponsor a basketball team. You know what I'm saying? I be talking to them, letting them know that it's more to life. It's more to life than just going down the wrong path. Like being in the streets or making the wrong decisions. Like just stay focused. You know what I'm saying? Just keep a positive thought. Never let yourself down. Never sell yourself short. You know what I'm saying? So with Dondada, I really trying to speak on where I came from. I'm just trying to prevent and avoid all the negativity. You know what I'm saying?
That's real.
So that.
Hey, Young. So what rapper that from the past that you look up to
again?
No, you with us. You live and direct.
Can you hear me, Young?
We'll get Young back on next time. Young, you can hang with us here too. But Young, we'll if you can hear us, we'll have you back on when you have a better connection because you get a lot of interesting work to talk about. We want to hear more of your thoughts on basketball and rap.
Rappers that I look up. Yeah, I can hear you. Rappers that I look up that I used to look up to in the past.
Who is it?
There's some suspense here, Scoob.
I want to hear his answer too.
What I will share with you is that Allen Iverson is his favorite basketball player. So that gives context there. He cut out a quick minute, and hopefully we have him back. We got a couple more minutes before we got to cut up out of here. But I want to thank Kelsey, Mark, Daniel, and Ben for appearing on today's episode. This is episode number 2, Dose. And we have talked everything from the to the Lakers to the Blazers to Daniel. I remember when you were on the first episode, you told us about your brother and the whole Celine Dion concert thing. I think that's hilarious. and Mark, we can talk on the phone or on here about sources all day. It's been great that. And Kelsey, you are doing amazing work. I'm curious to know from you guys' perspective, and chime in however you want. When basketball is not on, what is something that you all have utilized or maybe learned about yourself that you haven't learned or that you didn't know about yourself pre-COVID?
Very good
pretty
at
good at
podcasting,
podcasting.
Daniel. Don't sell yourself short.
Yeah, pretty good. I mean, I just been having fun. It's unfortunate. I don't mean to say fun because I lost some friends and family during this COVID, but I actually just learned how to lock in and just focus on something that I wanted to do. Once like COVID really kicked in, I just started just to like, all right, instead of being stressed out in the house and stuff, I was like, how can I fix it? How can I find a solution to these 99 problems? Got to have 100 solutions for it, right? So I just decided to podcast and just step it up even more. Just going on YouTube. Educating myself on things that has everything to do with podcasting. Just talking to you, Scoop, on you schooling me on things as far as like transcript and stuff. Even Kelsey schooling me on like her background work when she does her podcast, her presentation and everything. And I partnered with this other company called Access 2. And Access 2, they actually sponsors my technical talk. So when I'm not talking basketball, I'm talking about financial literacy. I'm talking about education. I'm talking about social justice. I'm everything with it. You know what I'm saying? So big shout out to Access 2 for helping me with that as well. And we like they're helping me like get the tools to become a better podcaster and everything. And I'm just enjoying it. Just taking it one day at a time, man.
That's real.
And for me, I just figured out like I'm a workaholic, man. Which I didn't really know because you got everything going on prior to COVID, sports and just life and family and everything. And when it kind of stopped, I kind of I think I took maybe a week off from doing anything, and I just like struggled sitting down. I was just like, what? Let me send some emails out. Let me do this. And next thing I know, I'm like really, fully stressed out over things that, I don't have no timetable or no pressure on me, but it's just kind of, I like to be under pressure when I do things, when I work. But I had to, kind of step back and spend more time with my family and stuff. And, I figured out something that I really enjoy is hiking, and that's something a lot of us ethnic people we don't do. But yeah, I'm actually going on a hike this weekend. For my anniversary, and it's way cooler than you think. Because I always thought about it as, all right, it's cool you hike up this huge mountain, but the downside is you got to go all the way back. Car is way back there, but you seeing so many nice sceneries and things like that it's really peaceful, it's relaxing, and I enjoy it a lot.
Yeah, I feel like I can go off of both your answers. Like I'm a workaholic like you, Mark. Scoob knows this because I think if anybody else is up when I'm up, it's definitely Scoob B because we don't sleep. We just are always up. Our minds are always working. But I think for me, I've been trying to brush up on my skills. I've been trying to just get better interviewing. I've been trying to talk to as many people as I can. I've been socializing more through Zoom calls because before COVID, I went to very few happy hours. I've probably been to more happy hours on Zoom now than before, which is awesome. But I think I've just been learning more about myself. I feel like I used to be afraid of getting older because I thought I was going to lose something. But now I've learned to kind of embrace getting older and wiser. And I say better. I think you get better as you get older because you just learn so much more about yourself. You get better, I promise. It's not as bad as people say when you get older. And I probably shouldn't say that because I know people are like, she's not that old. But it's just really finding more about yourself. I think I've never had this much time. I've never been in my apartment this much in my entire life. So it's just getting used to things. I've been doing a lot more cleaning, which I've needed to do. But it's just like learning new things that you like. I've been doing a bunch of YouTube videos. I've learned how to bartend. I'm about to get my license because I'm doing driving school online. So I'm just doing those. Yeah, I don't have my license, but I live in DC, so I have to put that flag. But yeah, all those types of things.
What about you, Scoop? What have you picked up during the last few months?
Honestly, I think the biggest thing that I've taken away is that my hard work pre-COVID is paying off in COVID. People joke and say, I don't have sources, which is BS. But at the end of the day, the fact that you're able to pick up a phone and make calls shows the people who were fronting the whole time. And, relationships are everything. And I think more than anything, I don't think I've learned anything from myself. I think maybe the thing that I have learned that I've been able to do because I've been able to stay home and slow down is really investing in myself, whether it's, paying for graphics for, my for lives that I'm doing, or, paying a publicist, to make sure that I'm seen in the right places and things of that sort. I think those are where I have really been able to benefit from COVID, and be a blessing to people in my life who are struggling because of COVID. I think that's something as talent we don't talk about. We all have family members who are struggling in different ways, whether it's health, whether it's financial. I think our jobs are more recession-proof than others, but we still got to work 10 times as hard to stay in the game because it's a recyclable business. What about you?
I got to go to a comment real quick that I should read. Joey Quintado said on hiking, it's all fun and games until you run into a mountain lion, Mark.
That's real.
Yeah, that's real right there.
Or
So, and I'm really scared of wildlife. Like I seen a skunk the other day, and I think it was a skunk. It might have been a cat, but it looked like a skunk, so I ran. So yeah, I'll be in trouble out there.
I'm in Charleston, South Carolina, so it's snakes, different type of lizards, and I'm from New York City. The only thing I seen was roaches and stuff. You know what I'm saying? So when you see something, you see snakes, raccoons, and lizards and everything like that. It's definitely different. So I feel your pain, brother.
So two things for me. One of which is that Young is back, so we're gonna get Young back in. It's 9:00, but we'll do a couple bonus minutes with Young back in. He can try to finish promoting his work and talking about some other things. Like for me, Scoob, and everybody else, I remember the first time that like my kids got to see other kids in person after 3 months of being like holed up in our house. And I've always liked to get out and spend time with people, but like the extent to which it's awesome to just like hang out with other people in real life, as much as it's great to hang out with you guys here and we're going to do this all the time. And I'm pretty pumped up about this. Like we should make like a resolution here when all this is kind of, gotten better. We should do like a live show in person. Everybody here, including Young, in person around a set somewhere, and we'll do a live show where we're all in the same place. So I'm gonna get.
So 3 years from now, yes, we'll do it.
We'll do it sooner rather than later. Hey, Young, can you hear us?
Yo.
Yeah, what up? My bad, man.
Oh, this connection's perfect now, Young, or at least it's much better.
Man, I don't know what be going on. I mean, man, Texas connection is terrible, man. I promise. I promise. I love Texas. I promise. I love Texas, but their connection is terrible. It's terrible. There's nothing more I can say.
I want to go back to what you said about LeBron and Michael because I feel like the Wi-Fi guys would let you be great, my guy. You saw a lot of shit because of the iced tea, so I want to get some clarity. You said LeBron James is better than Michael Jordan, correct?
Definitely.
Why?
Ooh, definitely.
I just feel like nowadays, in today's, I feel like the athletes are more faster, quicker, more flashier than back then. You know what I'm saying? So I just feel like LeBron play more. I feel like LeBron can play by himself. Like I feel like all he needs is somebody to check the ball in. You know what I'm saying? And don't get me wrong, he's a dope player, but I'm a big fan. But I like playing against him because I like him playing. I like him playing. I don't like when he be on a good team. I like when he be by himself because he play harder. You know what I'm saying? The game be more exciting. He be, you know what I'm saying? He be going crazy.
Okay, so
Jordan, I said this. Jordan, a great player though. Don't get me wrong. I'm not saying Jordan not a good player. He's very great, but I just like LeBron, just the Jordan of this time. You know what I'm saying?
Prime Jordan, prime LeBron. Who's checking who in a one-on-one?
LeBron gonna beat him all day.
All day.
All day.
How?
And LeBron got that little, he got that personality too. He go crazy too. And he got a real good flop game too. So don't foul him. Don't touch him.
He's right on
Don't
that.
touch him. Don't touch him. Ref gonna call it every time. Foul. Don't do it. Don't touch that man.
So if they're playing a one-on-one game of 21, LeBron is just going to the basket. He's not taking jumpers. How are we scoring this? What would the final score be?
LeBron can shoot too. He can do whatever.
It's true.
He can do whatever. LeBron got to think in his mind. I feel like LeBron got a little trigger in his mind. When he go down the court, he be like, I don't know if I'm going to shoot this time or I might just pass it or I might just dunk on somebody. It don't matter.
That's real. That's real. You talked about Anthony Davis, and you said that you like the fact that Anthony Davis can play multiple positions from 3 to 5, 3, 4, 5, small forward, power forward, center, correct?
Definitely.
What makes him elite amongst other players like the Joel Embiids, the DeAndre Aytons, the Karl Anthony Towns? Where do you rank him amongst other players?
I just feel like AD can play more as a team. I feel like he not afraid to fill in the spot that's missing. You know what I'm saying? And he's just dope. He just be right. He be right there where you need him to be at. You know, sometimes you look for, you get confused. You don't know what you want to do next. He just be right there to fill it in. Like, I'm right here, and he just go. That's what he do.
That's real. Allen Iverson is your favorite basketball player
all time. I like his attitude. I like his attitude. I like his attitude. He cocky too. It's just like he always do. He be boot like, what you want to do? Like, you know what I'm saying? I love him. And one thing I like about him, I love his story. You know what I'm saying? I love where he came from and how he was treated, and you know what I'm saying? And like how he overcame it. You know what I'm saying? That's why I like AI a lot. You know what I'm saying? I don't really know too much about every basketball story, but AI I really looked into his. You know what I'm saying? So that's probably why he my favorite. I don't even care if he was trash. I just like his story, and it just made him a better player. You know what I'm saying? Fast, quick. You don't know what he finna do. He quick. You don't know which way he finna go. And when he do it, you better be on your feet.
He checked Jordan in the game. He crossed him over.
I seen that, and it's so crazy. It's so crazy. I just watched it the other day too. I just seen it.
Are you taking Allen Iverson in a one-on-one with Michael?
I'm gonna tell you right now. I know Jordan gonna win. I know Jordan gonna win. But
rocking with Iverson.
Since I like Iverson so much, I'm behind him at all times. I'm prepared for the losses, but we going for the win. Most definitely.
Hey, Young. So since you with AI at all times, if you got a pair of Jordans and a pair of Iversons, which one you wearing?
I'm gonna be honest. I'm wearing the Jordans for sure. I'm for sure wearing Jordans. My whole closet is full of Jordans. Don't get me wrong, Jordan a great player. I like, you know what I'm saying? But them shoes, this shoes is killing everybody's shoes. I promise to God. I promise. I've been wearing these shoes since I was way younger.
Allen Iverson or MJ?
Jordans, MJ,
Okay.
MJs. Yeah.
Favorite pair of them?
I ain't never had no Iverson.
You ain't.
Yeah, you better get them first ones, man. Them first ones is classics, bro. You gotta jump on those first ones.
But I gonna be, I had every Jordans. On my closet right now, I got straight Jordans and straight Jordan. I be going.
You lucky. I wear.
See, look, I be going to like the little neighborhood gyms out here. They play basketball. I be playing basketball with all the kids and like all the little college D1 players and all that. I be playing with them. You know, I got my Jordans on. I got my little sleeve on. They be looking at me crazy. I got my sleeves on. I'm coming to play. I got my socks on. I'm coming to play. I'm coming to play today. You know what I'm saying?
Oh man, that means you definitely can't hoop, man. The sleeve?
Hey, I'm gonna tell you a funny story, right? So we playing, right? I'm doing them dirty, like I'm talking about laying them up. So they like, man, you can't even. I think I missed a layup. Somebody walked in, I missed a layup, and they was like, man, you got 2 sleeves on, you cannot play. You saw. I said, ooh. I just crazy. I promise. Everybody looking at me crazy. I got 2 sleeves on. I got my sleeves matching my whole outfit, like shorts, t-shirt.
How's your socks?
You know I got hot socks on.
Oh,
I got like Chris.
Oh my God!
Look,
I bet you any day I could beat any one of y'all basketball any day.
Really? Really?
Any
I
day.
bet you bet.
Daniel wants to smoke.
Really?
I just played with my boy Draco the other day.
Hey, I will have fun with you, my guy.
Yeah, that Maserati.
I bet anything.
You serious, right?
Yeah.
Man.
I can bet anything. I'm very confident in myself.
I'm glad I got this picture here, man. You know what I'm saying? 'Cause I trained this man. You know what I'm saying? For years. You know what I'm saying? So I'm gonna just hold this up here real quick. Right? I trained this man, yo. You know what I'm saying? I trained that man. You know what I'm saying? Nah, seriously though, man. 16-0, Daniel Artest.
16-0.
Yeah, that's for me, man.
I'm gonna tell you something. I can tell you when I play. So when we play basketball, the first one is 7-0, the game automatically over. So it ain't gonna be no 16-0.
It's gonna be 7-0 then. Hey, you say you live in Houston, right?
Yeah.
I'll be at that gym. It's called Fondy. I'll be at Fondy and stuff. Come on, man. Yeah,
I ain't never been out there. I ain't never been. I be going to the gym called like MI3 out here. Everybody.
MI3. All right, and then that's the only
when you
one that's gonna be in that gym because you ain't scoring. I'm telling you that right now.
We got live stream this.
I'm so fast. You gotta be able to catch me. I'm so fast. And
That's cool. That's okay.
All right, everyone in the comments is saying the Rutgers calling. Get out to Rutgers. So we said post-COVID, sometime I'll make a bold prediction, guys. Sometime in 2021, live show from Rutgers, Young and Daniel, one-on-one to kick it off. We'll have a tournament. Everyone will come down. We'll get Kelsey there, playing and/or broadcasting.
Oh, I'll play.
This is gonna be easy.
We'll do a live show, and Daniel's let Young score a point.
My hands is. I'm ready. I'm ready.
Yeah,
this is what I do. This is what I do. I've been doing this for. I've been doing this for what? I'm 37. I've been doing this for like 30 years, man. You know what I'm saying? I ain't got to run down the resume. How about this? I beat you. I need you to feature on a song, man. You know what I'm saying?
All right. I beat you. I need you to go
like that.
I beat you. I need you to go tell everybody I'm the best basketball player you ever seen in your life.
Man, listen, you're gonna have me in the same cell with Jeff Epstein as I get done with you, man. I'm telling you, man. It's going to be curtains for you, man. You young is like, you know what I'm saying?
I like your confidence though. Your confidence is very high.
Hey, you talking to I played in Germany, Greece, and China for 13 years, man. You know what I'm saying? That's all I did. I didn't do much. You know what I'm saying?
I commit everybody from Jersey and New York. I commit they good basketball players.
Nah, I'm from New York, man. I'm from New York. Jersey can't play. Don't believe the Jersey hype. Don't believe the Jersey hype.
But I'm telling you, I'm from Florida. I'm from down south. We just athletic. We raw at everything.
Oh, facts.
Young, I have a quick question for you. I know we're talking basketball, but since you said you're athletic and you're from Florida, I want to know your thoughts on Lamar Jackson, another Florida boy.
Oh my God, Lamar Jackson is a GOAT, real life. That's how I used to play in my days. I'm on the football field. I used to be like that. You know what I'm saying? Look quick, don't get touched, no interceptions. You know what I'm saying? That's me. So when I see Lamar, I see me. You know what I'm saying? So I ain't gonna lie, Lamar probably like one of the best quarterbacks I haven't seen in a very long time. I'm gonna get me wrong. I like Patrick Mahomes as well.
Mm-hmm. But Lamar Jackson got me watching football. I don't even watch football, but I watch him, man. He's different.
That's what I'm saying. He bring excitement back too. He like a Vic too. You know what I'm saying? Mm-hmm. See that. But Lamar Jackson, he's dope. But I done spoke to Lamar Jackson a couple times. Like he a great individual as well. You know what I'm saying? So it always be the good players who got. It's different when you're a great player and you got a bad attitude, or when you're a great player and you got a dope attitude. You know what I'm saying? A great dope individual, and it just make you a better player all the way around. You know what I'm saying? Your personality make you better. You know what I'm saying? It's crazy. He dope though. I promise you that.
Yeah.
Tell me something.
Why do you think go ahead. Sorry, Scoob.
No, ladies. Go ahead.
I was gonna ask, why do you think he's so underrated then? Why do you think people still won't respect him as a quarterback?
I don't. Then that's the part that gets me going crazy and make me want to pull my hair out because I don't understand. I really don't understand why he's so underrated, man. This man is dope, man. You can't even really touch him. He don't, man. I looked at his stats. I think he had interceptions last year, right? Or was it 5? I don't remember. I can't recall. I think it was like 4 or 5.
Yeah.
It's somewhere in there, and it's like,
Yeah.
Some of them wasn't his fault. Sometimes it be QB fault, but some of them wasn't his fault. So I can really say he had 2 interceptions. If you want me to be honest.
Yeah.
Man, he's just dope all around. He can play running back as well. You can't catch him. He's really fast. Like majority of the quarterbacks not really as fast. They just got a great arm, good accuracy. Get what I'm saying? That man's fast. He can throw as well. Like they be playing on my boy. Stop playing on my boy. My boy can throw too. You know what I'm saying? You know, it make you more dominant when you can run the ball and throw the ball. You know, because you don't know what you're gonna do. Defense don't know what you're gonna do. You know what I'm saying? So they really be on their heels.
And Young, I wanted to get back to the question that you bleeped out on earlier with me. What rappers do you look up to?
Rappers I did look up to when I was younger. I used to look up to like Lil Boosie. You know what I'm saying? Like Gates. You know what I'm saying? Them type of rappers. Like Drake always been my favorite though. You know what I'm saying? I used to look up to Dirk too. Dirk as well. And I mean Dirk real close, like he like a brother to me as well now. But like Drake, man, Drake awesome, man. I ain't gonna lie. Drake, that nigga, man, dope. He could switch up any type of way. Like he just gives you any way. Like I said, that personality thing, that means a lot to me. You know what I'm saying? When you Drake just got everything. He got the commercial. He can play any type of way. You gotta respect him. Like, everybody, I've been seeing this little thing going viral nowadays. They were saying like Drake like the new Michael Jackson at this time. It's crazy.
Did you compare Mark? Did you time out? Listen, I catch everything.
That's high praise.
You said that Drake is the next Michael Jackson?
No, listen what I'm saying. I said I've been seeing this thing go around on Instagram and on the internet, Twitter, and like Drake is the Michael Jackson of this generation. It might be crazy, but I'm telling you what I've seen.
That's what sources say. Sources say.
Multiple leak sources.
Drake dope, man.
Listen, 2-part question. One, you talked about Lamar Jackson. We do heavy traffic with Cam Newton, so I'm gonna ask. Ben is my editor. He's grinning already.
I was gonna ask a Cam Newton question too. Yeah, get in here on. Go ahead.
Go ahead. The floor is yours.
No, I mean, on the topic of quarterbacks who, I mean, in Lamar's case, underrated for sure. In Cam's case, as a Patriots fan, I sure as hell think he's underrated right now. It's a little bit different, right? Because Cam's been hurt. But like Cam Newton in New England, what do you make of that, Young?
Nah, I ain't gonna lie. I've been watching Cam Newton on Instagram lately. He been posting some real serious stuff. So I know he's gonna go crazy this year. He got to, because I ain't saying no competition going on, but you know, it's very rare for a quarterback to come in who's fast, he can throw. You know, Cam Newton's a great player as well. Like he came in hot. You know what I'm saying? So when he see Lamar coming in, he kind of see himself. You get what I'm saying? So it's like he battling with himself now, because Lamar dope. So Cam is a great player, man. I swear he's a great player. He underrated. He definitely underrated.
I know you got to go in a few minutes, so I'm going to get my question in before you got to go. Here's my question for you. You talked about basketball, and you talked about the fact that you think you can beat anybody, including Daniel Artest, who's Metta World Peace's brother in here. My question to you is, you also think that you can beat rappers. Could you beat Drake in a one-on-one?
Drake? Yeah, all day. I just played with Durkee on now. I'm just trying to tell you now. Me and Durkee had a little type of going on for like past year. We going there about who better than basketball now. He ain't gonna tell y'all I just beat him that the other day. He ain't gonna mention that. You know what I'm saying? Nobody only mention when they lose. Hey, I can't speak for my talent. It's just there.
Okay.
All right.
It's just there.
Young, it's been awesome having you on. Can we come back on later before the end of the playoffs? Come back on in a couple months?
Definitely.
Okay, awesome. Love to have you back.
Thank you.
I appreciate y'all. I appreciate y'all time, man.
Yes, sir.
Yes,
Value.
Y'all stay blessed. Y'all stay blessed.
Great
Thank
stuff.
you.
Son.
Now think about that LeBron and Jordan. Y'all have a good day.
Later.
That was a great exit.
That really was.
Y'all had my competitive juices just now, man. Like, come on, y'all can't do that to me, man. You know, I'm like a boxer. Like, you know what I'm saying? You know how boxers get, you know, when they ain't boxing a long time and stuff.
You get Tyson and Roy Jones coming out of retirement.
Yeah, you know what I'm saying? Listen, man, I'm about to go lace up my size 17 shoes right now and just go outside.
Don't forget the sleeve, though. Don't forget the sleeve.
Oh no, we ain't doing that.
Two sleeves. Two sleeves.
We should reset this quickly now and say the Laker game is underway. And my pick that the Blazers are cover the spread looks good so far. 5-2 Blazers lead. Lakers are going to win, but it's going to be close. Lakers are going to win, but it's going to be close. So look, this has been awesome. Thank you, Daniel, for coming back. Daniel, anything? I love the merchandise. I love the show us your shirt one more time. The Daniel Artest podcast.
Come on.
Oh, it's really.
All right, listen, man. You know what I'm saying? The Daniel Artest podcast, man. You know what I'm saying? For those that want to reach me, you know, Twitter and Instagram at Daniel Artest Pod, and I got a Facebook group with 2,700 plus people in there, and you can just search it on Facebook at the Daniel Artest Podcast and www.danielartestpodcast.com and stuff. You know what I mean? That's all, man. Thank you, man.
And he's going to take Young to the woodshed and one-on-one 14 in the heavy Rucker Park.
It's gonna be some real. It's gonna be like abuse, man. You know I feel bad for him. He's saying be blessed. He need to grab rosary beads, ticket beads if he's Muslim or whatever. You know what I mean? You gotta
Daniel,
get it.
at least let him get a basket. Let him get one basket.
Oh no.
No buckets.
No buckets, man. My brother said it one time. He was playing with the Sacramento Kings. Look it up. No baskets.
All right. Fighting words from Daniel Artest. Okay. Kelsey Nicole Nelson. Thank you, Kelsey, for joining us. I am praying that we have some kind of Big East basketball for all of us to watch and for you to broadcast. Kelsey, what do you want to plug before we wrap up and watch some more hoops?
Yeah, I'll be quick. Everyone can check out my website, KelseyNicoleNelson.com. Have a new show this Thursday at 6 p.m. and Saturday at 2 p.m. Check it out, YouTube, Facebook. Check those out. And also podcast versions drop on iTunes, Google Play, and Spotify. Listen in with K&N. It's Sports Talk Podcast. I have new guests joining me each and every week. So we have an exciting August and September lined up. Check it out. I don't have t-shirts like Daniel. I didn't get the memo, Daniel, to come with the merchandise and gear on, but definitely check out my podcast.
Oh my gosh.
I told you last time, you will have Heavy on Lakers merchandise at some point.
Nice.
And if anybody wants a heavy hat like I'm sporting here, DM me on Twitter at Ben Doody, and I'll connect you with the heavy hat. We'll talk on our next show. Scoop, did I ever show you the picture from? I don't know when the picture was taken. There's a picture of Roger Goodell talking to Jay-Z, and Jay-Z is wearing a heavy shirt from back in the day, from like 16 years ago.
What you want him to do? He's sorry.
So we'll get Jay-Z. Jay-Z, if you're out there watching, we're gonna get you some heavy merch. We'll get you this heavy hat if you want. Okay, so Kelsey, thanks for coming on, and Mark Haynes making his debut on the show. Mark is the host of the Minute Till 6 podcast. Mark, what do you want to plug or talk about before we wrap up?
Just follow. You can follow me on Instagram, Twitter, both at MHTheChamp. It's MHDA Champ. You could actually catch me on the Fit Vine Wine page. I'm doing a little promo like that.
Okay.
Ooh.
And, you can catch me talk some wine and all things sports when it comes to a Minute Till 6. We drop every week.
I'm waiting for my bottles. You ain't low.
Me too.
My guy was on vacation, but I just need the address. DM me the address, and I get them out to you, man.
All right.
But just follow me on social media, MHTheChamp, and look out for Minute Till 6. We drop every Monday.
Okay, so Monday for Minute Till 6, and then on the Heavy Live shows, Heavy Live with Scoop, Heavy on Lakers here. We're going to be on our Heavy on Bulls page. We'll also be on YouTube, and we'll also be on Periscope via Scoop's Twitter account. We'll be live at 8 o'clock Eastern on Thursday, so you can check us out with a couple of Bulls guests. We'll preview the Bulls coaching search. We'll preview the NBA draft lottery, which is Thursday night. And then some really, really cool stuff coming up, including some NFL talk with Marshall Faulk. Scoop, what am I missing in terms of upcoming stuff that people can look forward to?
Not a thing.
Okay, nailed it. All right, nailed it in one take. Okay, Lakers and Blazers should be fun. You can drop in the comments here if you're on the Facebook page. By the way, hop into the comments and we'll continue monitoring those after we wrap up here. We'll call it there. Have a great night, everybody. Again, thank you to all our guests for joining us. Thank you to everybody who's up in the comments.
Thank you.
And enjoy the basketball. Thanks, guys.
Thanks. Bye.
Peace.